Am I the idiot for not letting my neighbors borrow my car for a long trip? I, 29, female, moved to a new neighborhood almost 2 years ago. I live alone, no partner or kids, but my mom, 80, female, does live with me part of the year, 6 to 8 months of the year. I really like this neighborhood and haven't had any issues until now. It's a very tight-knit community, neighborhood BBQs at least once a month. The kids all play together after school, etc. My next-door neighbors to one side have a severely disabled child. She is 6, almost 7, and completely non-verbal and wheelchair-bound. They have nurses who help care for her, but I know her parents are struggling, understandably so. Her mom had to quit her job and is a full-time carer for her and their other older child. I've gotten relatively close to them, the parents, and they are lovely neighbors. Their older child is respectful and honestly one of the sweetest children in the neighborhood. For my mom, I bought a minivan and had it customized to have a ramp and wheelchair tie down so that I can easily transport her and her mobility equipment, usually a wheelchair, when she's staying with me. The other 4 to 6 months of the year, when my mom spends time with her sister and friends in our home country, the car sits mostly unused unless I have a reason to move bigger things that won't fit in my daily driver. I noticed that the neighbors didn't have a car suitable for transporting their daughter without taking her out of the wheelchair and fighting to keep all her tubes and wires in place, so I offered them the use of my minivan if I wasn't using it to transport my mom. We've had an agreement in place that has worked well for us for almost 18 months, but now they've asked if they can use the car to go on a road trip. The trip is scheduled to last just over 2 weeks. The main reason for the trip is to take the kids to Disney World for the first time. My problem is that my mom is supposed to arrive a couple days after they leave. I asked if they could delay the trip by just a few days so I can at least get her from the airport with minimal stress. They are adamant they leave on the dates they want to do. I said no, I need to be able to comfortably get my mom from the airport, and after a 12-hour flight I want her to be comfortable and not have to worry about getting in and out of the car. They called me selfish and I've been ousted by the rest of the community. I wasn't invited to the last barbecue. Nobody says hi or waves back at me on the street anymore. The neighbor kids that come by to see my dogs and run around the yard with them haven't been by in almost 2 weeks. I tried to text the neighbors, but my texts went undelivered, so I think they blocked me. I feel like I'm living in a hostile environment now and it's so uncomfortable. Should I just cave and let them take my car? Now for a few comments before the update. Not the idiot. And don't cave. It appears your friendly neighborhood is actually made up of a group of false friends. You didn't ask for anything unreasonable, but they wouldn't adjust for you, even though you were extremely generous with them. This neighborhood has turned toxic, and if it's possible, I suggest you find a community of more honest people. Comment 2, you're the idiot. Are you kidding me right now? You have got to be the most self-centered, heartless person I've come across. How can you be so utterly oblivious to the struggles your neighbors are facing? You claim to be part of this tight-knit community, but it's clear that you have no understanding of what that actually means. When someone in the community needs help, you step up and support them. That's how it works. But no, you decide that your precious convenience and your mom's arrival take precedence over the dreams and happiness of a family with a disabled child. Now for the update. Sorry it took so long to update. There's been a lot going on. A few days after I posted here, I got a text from the next-door neighbor asking if we could talk. She came over to my place, and before we even started talking she was in tears and hugging me, apologizing for everything that had happened over the last couple of weeks. She said her brother had sent her the post, and she had no idea what had been happening in the neighborhood. Eventually I got the full story. The day before they asked about taking the van for a vacation, they had gone to meet with her daughter's medical team and got bad news. They gave her only a few more months to live. She really wanted to take her kids to Disney World before her daughter passed, and obviously with her emotions running high she vented to her best friend, also lives in the neighborhood with her kids, who was the real reason nobody was speaking to me. Her BF had told everybody I told them I didn't care that their daughter was dying and I was being incredibly selfish. It was a very emotional conversation, and she told me she would set things right with the other neighbors. After she went home, I spoke to my mom and we agreed to try and help them pay for Disney World. I got some apology messages from other neighbors and did a kind of fundraising and raised a decent chunk for them to be able to afford flights/accommodations. They went on their trip and had a great family vacation. Her BF apologized to me and told the neighbors the full story. Unfortunately, their daughter passed away about 10 days ago, peacefully in her sleep. Neighbors are obviously heartbroken but are being supported by the neighborhood. So yeah, not exactly a happy ending, but everything is as normal as can be now. Comment 1. Hate to say it, but the neighbor's BF is the real villain, embroidering the story with, "I don't care if she dies," and other nonsense that didn't happen to turn the neighborhood against OP, instead of, "Oh, I don't know," rallying the neighborhood to help them with renting a van or whatever for their trip. Sort of like what OP did. I hope she's ashamed of herself. OP made her friend and her friend's daughter's lives easier with her generosity, and BF really tried to do her a bad turn. Comment 2. I hope in the future your neighbor will listen to both sides of the story, but what a terrible loss your neighbor is dealing with. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for telling my girlfriend I'll keep honoring my best friend's dying wish even if it makes her uncomfortable? My late best friend and I have known each other since we were little. We were next-door neighbors and always played together. We even went to the same kindergarten, primary school and middle/high school together. One day during our sophomore year, we started talking about how most of our classmates had started dating. We obviously weren't okay with that and decided to get one up on all of them by getting married. As a joke, I made her a fake ring and she gave me her scrunchie. A few weeks later, a drunk driver hit her. She sustained multiple injuries and was in the ICU for 2 months. The doctor told her family that her survival chances are slim. The only time I talked to her before she died, she made me promise to always visit her on our wedding anniversary, and to wear her scrunchie during the visit. 4 years ago, when I started dating my girlfriend, I told her about it and asked if she was okay with it. She commented about how sweet and nice the tradition was and told me she was perfectly fine with it. Today was the 10th anniversary, and I took the day off. Before my girlfriend went to work, she told me it's time to put this tradition to rest and move on because it was starting to get pathetic that I still wear a dead girl's scrunchie to celebrate a fake marriage that we had 10 years ago. I was furious at her comments because she wasn't just a dead girl. She was my best friend and like a sister to me. We grew up and did everything together. I told my girlfriend a long time ago that we never had a sexual or romantic relationship and that our wedding was just a joke. It's not like I talk about her or keep her photos around the house or anything similar. The only times I've talked about her to my girlfriend is when I told her if she was okay with the tradition, or if she asked me about her. When I told her that I'll keep honoring my best friend's dying wish even if it made her uncomfortable, she left for work angry at me and hasn't come back home yet. Now, for a few comments before the update. Not the idiot. But if she's been fine up until now, then maybe she's upset about something else? Like there's been a feeling that the relationship has fallen into complacency, so she's lashed out at a display of you showing something else as being meaningful? Comment 2. No idiots here, but don't be held hostage by a promise for a fake marriage. Even real marriages are to death do us part. Celebrate your friend's life the way you want in life because she is dead and does not care. So if your remembrance of her brings you joy, then find people that can share in that joy with you. I do wonder though, if your friend were able to see you having a conflict in a relationship over this, what would she want you to do? That's something only you can answer. I think that you haven't talked through this with your girlfriend and there is obviously built up resentment and misunderstanding with her that discussion and conversation might fix. In the end, what's important for yourself, and communicate those expectations to your GF and let the chips fall where they may. Now for the update. When I came back home from work Tuesday, I found her sitting on the couch. She looked like she had been crying before I got there. After she saw me, she held her head and broke down crying again. When I asked her what's wrong, she started apologizing and begging for my forgiveness. I calmed her and told her she needed to talk to me first. She said that she didn't have the guts to look me in the eye after what she did and that she haven't been able to sleep ever since. She told me that she's been feeling like a piece of poop after talking about my best friend the way she did and also hurting my feelings as a result. She admitted she really saw my tradition as nice and sweet when I first told her about it, but still thought I'd stop doing it after each passing year. She told me she never considered herself the jealous or controlling type, but what she did really showed her true colors. She told me that I don't deserve a shitty girlfriend like her because for the whole time we were together I always listened to her, treated her with love, respect and kindness, and made her feel like the most important girl in the world, and in return she thanked me by being a mean-spirited partner that was jealous and cruel, and who tried to deprive me from the few hours I get to have each year to honor a sweet and loving memory of a friend. She said she'd understand if I wanted to break up with her, but asked me to forgive her because she didn't think she'd be able to forgive herself, and apologized again. Hearing all that was really a lot to digest. I took a few minutes to gather my thoughts, then I told her that forgiveness was a process, and I wouldn't mean it if I said I did right then. I assured her that her feelings were valid whether I agreed with them or not, and that having them doesn't make her a bad person, but told her that the way she acted on them at first was hurtful, tasteless, and rude. I said that I accepted her apology because it was sincere and that I really appreciate her being honest with me. I told her I meant what I said before about wanting to spend the rest of my life with her, and reminded her that we always faced hardships and setbacks as a team, and this one wasn't any different. She replied saying that I was the love of her life, and that she couldn't believe she was going to throw all we had away because of jealousy. She made me promise to never feel guilty about honoring my best friend's memory. We talked and hugged each other for a long time and then fell asleep on the couch. I just want to thank you all for your comments, advice and suggestions because they really helped and played a huge role in navigating this situation. I believe they made me consider a lot of scenarios and think about a lot of stuff which hadn't crossed my mind before. Comment 1. Soft. You're the idiot. I can understory girlfriend wanting you to move on so she can feel that she's your everything and live your life. I think you've damaged your relationship, and there was nothing wrong in her asking you to get past this. Maybe other things were wrong, but not the asking. I don't know that your mature deceased friend would want you to continue a tradition if it would interfere with your future relationship. Comment 2. This might be weird, but if you haven't, you may want to go introduce your girlfriend to your friend. I think it could help her in your relationship. For you, your friend is very real because you have memories, but she's not very real to your girlfriend. At the same time, your friend is very important to you in the present, but your girlfriend can't be a part of that at all. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for deliberately getting rejected from a summer camp so I wouldn't have to watch over my special needs stepsister? My dad has been married to and for 8 years now. I'm female 16, and my stepsister, N's daughter, is female 15. N's daughter is autistic and she struggles a lot socially. For the most part, her issues stem from not knowing when she is being taken advantage of or bullied until it gets more serious, and then she has some really bad episodes that come from being treated that way. When my dad first married and they told me it was now my job to look out for her and be a good big sister, and they really put me to the test. They made me spend time with her at school even though we are a grade apart, and I was used to having time with my friends for lunch. Then they would make me supervise her if she wanted to play with kids in the neighborhood or park. She liked playing with younger kids until COVID put a stop to that for a while. I'd have to follow her out all the time. I resent the role I have to play in her life. I never wanted to be someone's keeper, and it's not something I enjoy doing. Several weeks ago, Dad and N announced we would be going to this Christian summer camp and that N's daughter really wanted to go. We're doing the day part, but there is a day and sleep away parts of it. And is very religious, and Dad became religious after he married Anne. When my mom was alive and they were married, he was an atheist. I'm like my mom and they old him that way. I hate the church. I hate most religious stuff, honestly. It has always been judgmental in my experience, and as someone with a trans best friend and friends who are not straight, I have seen the poop Anne's church has said about LGBTQIA+ people. I also don't want to be stuck taking care of her for 6 weeks this summer. So I emailed the pastor over the camp and made it pretty clear where I stood on the issue and that I would make sure I talked about not believing in God and would openly discuss LGBTQIA+ issues throughout the camp. Seems like it worked because I got a call the next day and they said they could no longer accept me as I am not a member of their church. I was never baptized and have refused to be. It took about a week for her and my dad to figure out I had a part to play in it. They asked how I could be so selfish and how could I abandon my sister like that. That she could end up being treated terribly there, and she'll have nobody looking out for her. I told them it was not my job to do that. It's been over a week now and they're still pissed, and the camp starts soonish, and they are only growing more angry the closer it gets. I expected it somewhat, but they really believe what I did was shitty. Dad said Mom would be ashamed of me, and I told him she'd be ashamed of him trying to pawn off parenting onto me, and she would never have been okay with any of this. He told me I was being cruel. Am I the idiot? There's no updates, so here's a few comments. Not the idiot. There's nothing wrong with them asking you to help them on occasion. This isn't that though. They are making you be her quasi-babysitter, which isn't cool. At least they should pick activities that both people could enjoy, as 15/16 is really too old for a day camp unless it's targeted for special needs individuals. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Plain and simple, she's not your responsibility, and you aren't her caretaker, nor should you be forced to be. They are her parents. All that is their responsibility, not yours. They should be ashamed of themselves for expecting you to parent your autistic stepsister because either of them want to. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to drop a like. It really helps the channel grow. See you next time. Am I the idiot for taking my daughter out of dance because of her mother ruining it for her? So my daughter is 5 and she's been dancing since last year. Her mom is a former gymnast and wanted her to do that, but my daughter didn't like it at all and prefers taking tap and ballet classes instead. I knew this bothered my wife, but I didn't expect her to alienate herself from the other moms and the instructor. She says she feels like our daughter isn't being used where she should be and that her and the instructor constantly get into it with each other, and my wife feels like she has knowledge with her gymnast background and that's why the instructor should take note of what she's saying. My wife is very competitive, and I do admire her drive for that, but it seems like the pushback between her and the instructor has caused a lot of tension in the class. This has caused the other moms to get mad when my wife would bring up how their daughters were being treated in comparison to ours, and now the entire experience is ruined for our daughter. Since the other moms don't like my wife, they no longer invite our daughter to play dates and other outings which the girls talk about in class, and it makes my daughter come home to me and cry about how she wants to go on playdates again with her friends. I spoke to my wife about it, and she said that she will make friends in kindergarten and that it's not that serious. But this is a studio she plans for our daughter to attend for years. I don't understand how she doesn't get how her conflict with the other parents won't cause our daughter to feel excluded. She told me that the other moms are rude and she will always stand up for herself and our daughter, and that I need to stop being scared of them. My daughter doesn't even want to go to class anymore. She cries when I get off work and pick her up from class. The parents and instructors are cordial with me when I come inside for pickup, and one even invited my daughter to her daughter's birthday party but specified that I be the one to take her. When I told my wife this, she blew up and got very upset, saying that it's weird she specified I take our daughter and she can't go. I told her that's ridiculous, but she wouldn't budge, and it just so happened to fall on a workday so I couldn't take her. I was fed up, and my daughter kept complaining about hating the studio and not liking dance, so I disenrolled her when I went to pick her up, and she was crying about never wanting to come back. When I went home and told my wife, she got mad and said I'm an evil idiot and that I should have spoken to her first before doing that. I told her that she is the one that ruined our daughter's experience with her fighting the parents and instructors and alienating our daughter from the other girls. She kept saying I'm the only one wrong and that I'm an idiot since it's the best studio in town and others have wait lists for months. Am I the idiot? Now for a few comments before the update. Not the idiot. But your wife is. While she may be a former gymnast, her role in this particular scenario was to be your child's mom and allow your daughter to have her own personal experience in the class and make friends with her fellow dance class students. Your wife allowed her ego to lead instead of her love for her child and the opportunity to learn something new. Comment 2. You're the idiot. Wow, you are an incredibly spineless and weak-willed individual. Instead of addressing the real issue at hand, which is your wife's toxic behavior, you decide to punish your daughter by pulling her out of dance. You're using your daughter as a scapegoat for your inability to stand up to your wife and set boundaries. Your daughter was enjoying dance and had found her passion, but because your wife couldn't control herself and created tension with the other parents and instructors, you decided to let your daughter suffer the consequences. You should have confronted your wife and demanded that she fix her behavior instead of punishing an innocent child. Now for the update. A quick recap is that my wife got into conflict with instructors and parents at our daughter's studio, causing her to be alienated, and in return I enrolled my unhappy daughter from classes. I felt a bit conflicted if I did the right thing, but after reading your responses I felt content I made the right choice. I even showed her comments, but she refused to look at my phone for long. I thought after getting mad my wife would be able to get over this and see my side, but unfortunately things became very bad. She told me a week after she was going to enroll our daughter back in gymnastics like she had initially wanted, and my daughter overheard this, saying she didn't want to and started crying. My wife completely ignored this and went on talking to me, saying she's sick of me enabling quitting and that our daughter needs a better role model. I was sick to watch her ignore our crying daughter and told her that we already tried gymnastics and our daughter didn't like it, and she said it will be different this time and that her word is final. We kept arguing about this and she went on to enroll our daughter into gymnastics again and started taking her while I was at work. I was furious that she couldn't respect my wishes, but she said I wasn't respecting her. I told my wife that she has control issues and is trying to live through our daughter, and this made her extremely upset. I recommended therapy like a lot of commenters said to, and this set her off. She started accusing me of infidelity, saying that the mother at my daughter's old studio who specifically asked that I bring my daughter and not my wife is the reason I'm starting issues for no reason with her, and that she found it weird that she specially asked for me and not her, and that means something more. I said that's because all the moms hate her and didn't want her around, and she cursed at me horribly, saying disgusting things I can't type, but I'm shocked I married someone so vile. She wasn't always like this. She was a kind, caring woman before this whole gymnastics/ballet fiasco started and her tiger mom side came out. I know it's crazy and I wish I could say different, but I'm seeing this heading towards divorce. We haven't slept in the same bed for 3 weeks and she won't talk to me about anything other than the house, our daughter, and the dog. I'm embarrassed to tell anyone this because I find it so bizarre and weird that so much conflict has stemmed from something as innocent as sports. So yeah? Comment 1. She's cheating, dude. That's why the infidelity comments came out of nowhere. Hire a PI to confirm and start talking to a divorce attorney immediately. She already is and you don't want to be beat to the punch. Then another commenter responded with, the possibility of infidelity has a pretty high probability of being correct. She is definitely looking for an attorney. Keep a very, very close eye on your daughter. She seems the type to snatch her, and the courts are more likely to side with her if she already has the child away from you. Comment 2. You married my ex-wife's sister. My ex lived through my daughter. She had to be the best dancer, the best cheerleader, etc. She alienated other parents with her hyper-competitiveness. It ended with eating disorders, depression, and her losing custody of our daughter completely. I have no solution for you, but I wish I had divorced her long before I did. I told myself I was staying to ensure my daughter had an intact home, but it was a huge mistake. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for telling my boyfriend that I would rather be alone and suffer in my apartment than go with him to visit his mom? So I, 23M, hate my BFS, male 24, family with a passion. I can't stand them. They are the most condescending, judgmental AHS I have ever had the displeasure of knowing. It all started when I first met them. They talked about my looks and how I could improve it by losing weight, cutting my hair, and stop eating like a pig. I'm 188 centimeters tall and 80 kilograms. I go to the gym a lot and I would consider myself fit. They have poop on my job because they think I'm not good enough to be a doctor and I work too much. His mother is the one that says all of this and the rest agree with her. It has gotten to the point where I'm dreading every birthday, Christmas, or any other celebration because I have to see them again. My BF has told them to stop, but they always say that I'm too sensitive and need to relax. Last time I met them, they told my BF that he should dump me and find a man that's better for him. I was sitting next to him when it happened, so his mom got into an accident and had to go to the hospital I'm working at, and my boyfriend told me to help her and make sure she gets the best care. I told my coworkers and they assured me that I can't be on her case and that I wouldn't need to be near her at all. My BF and his family begged me that I should visit her and make sure she is okay on my break, and I refused. I said I would rather be alone in my apartment and suffer than to visit his mom with him or without him. I can't effing stand that woman. He and his family have been messaging me non-stop telling me I am a bad doctor for not wanting to help a patient. But the thing is, she's not my patient, so am I the idiot? Edit. In Sweden it's 5 years of med school, then you become an intern. I think it's called that in the US. After you are done with that you can specialize in whatever field you like. I'm working in a surgical hospital. And I started my studies half a year before I turned 17. Now for a few comments before the update. Not the idiot, his family sounds awful and I don't blame you. Your problem though is really with your boyfriend. He should not be allowing them to treat you this way, or at least never make you be around them. You may want to reevaluate this relationship. Then the original poster responded with, we have had countless conversations about this, and he agrees with me and has told them off. I have also said that if our relationship is gonna work, he needs to accept that I won't ever be near his family. Now that he has been calling and texting non-stop to visit his mother, just me. After all the things she said, I told him what we have talked about before. That being said, I am a doctor and I do have obligations, but my obligations are not to her. I can't be a doctor to someone I have personal connections to. My coworkers have told me she has been bad-mouthing me to them, so there is no way in hell that I'm visiting that woman. Comment 2. Not the idiot. But why are you still with him? It doesn't look like he is willing to cut off from his family. This is going to be a lifelong issue, and I don't think it's worth your mental health. Now for the update. So I thought I would give you guys an update, but before that, thank you all for the kind words and support. His mom was fine. She was not in any danger at all. My colleagues told me how much poop she talked about me and how much better he could do than some wannabe doctor. I was fuming. She and her family had been begging me to visit her, and she was still talking poop about me. So I went to her room demanding to know what her problem was. Well, she didn't like me because I'm, in her words, too masculine to be with her son, and he needs to find someone that's not LOL. I told my BF and he was mad at first but kinda agreed with her and told me it wouldn't hurt me to try being less masculine. All I said was that if he's trying to make me change who I am, then there is no reason to be with me anymore. He told me that that's not what he wanted and that he loves me. So I told him, like so many of you did, that if he wants me then he needs to go low contact with her, and I'm going to go full no contact. He told me that it's not fair and I was being unreasonable. I had made my choice though, and in the end we broke up. TBH, I'm not even heartbroken. I have my job, good friends, and a family that loves me. I have gotten texts from him telling me he misses me, but I have just ignored them. In the end, I'm happy, I think, and it's for the better. Edit. I just want to say once again thank you. To be honest, it's good to hear from strangers that I'm not overreacting, not a coward that's running away when things get hard. I really loved him, but the dude has big mommy issues. And BC of his mom, I realized that I can't deal with a guy that can't put me first. I'm already working my ass off, and I can't be bothered to feel like poop after work. Comment 1. You saved yourself from a lifetime of abuse and stress. Let him try to find someone better. His mother won't approve of anyone. I know you can do much better than that toxic family. Comment 2. So happy to hear that it's settled. The hardest part of breaking up is really making your mind up to do it. If your BF couldn't understand how bad being around his mother was for you, then this is clearly for the best. Now you can focus on your most important relationship for a little while. The relationship with yourself. You are young, strong, intelligent, and you have an excellent and challenging career. And one of these days you will meet the man who deserves you. Thanks for the update, and much love to you. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to drop a like. It really helps the channel grow. See you next time. Am I the idiot for wearing a tight dress despite my friend asking me not to? I, female 20, and my friends, female 22, and female 22, are currently on vacation. For the sake of the story, I will call them L and K. LK, and I all decided that while we are on vacation, 1 week, we would go clubbing as much as possible. All of my friends know that I have a feminine sense of style. My entire wardrobe consists of pink, mini skirts, dresses, heels, and lots of jewelry. Not once has this ever seemingly been a problem with my friends, at least none that was mentioned directly to me. When you go clubbing, most people tend to wear tight outfits, so my suitcase was packed with several outfits meant for clubbing. Last night, after spending our day by the pool, I started Googling clubbing places near us and broached the topic of starting our first night partying. All seemed excited, so we all headed up to our room to start getting ready. I was just about done with my makeup and hair when I grabbed the dress I was planning on wearing, and suddenly the mood felt extremely sour. For sake of full clarity, it's a very short pink leather dress. Kay spoke up and mentioned that I should probably pick another outfit. I asked her why, and she said since we are all going together, none of us should try to outdo each other. I explained that I'm not trying to outdo anyone and just liked my dress. Elle sided with her, saying that I was clearly trying to one-up the both of them and was acting like a pick-me. I told them I'm wearing the dress no matter what, and I was sure they would look just as if not more beautiful than me in their outfits. They barely talked to me for the remainder of getting ready and split up from me the moment the Uber dropped us off. It's Tuesday and they are still being cold/short with me. I kind of want to go home, but I'm curious if I'm being an overdramatic idiot. Am I the idiot? Edit. Even if you don't agree with how they handled it, please refrain from overly harsh insults towards them. Nobody is perfect, and hurling insults towards/about them does not make it any better. Edit 2. I am seriously considering going home. I got up this morning, and when I went to get dressed after my shower, I found that several of my clothes had been vandalized. 2 of my tops have been torn. A skirt of mine is completely butchered. A couple of my dresses look like they went through a wood chipper, and a pair of my heels has toothpaste squirted into the base. Both of them are denying they did it. Honestly, I am just beyond crushed that they did this to my clothing and don't even have the nerve to admit it. It genuinely makes me want to cry. Now, for a few comments before the update. Not the idiot. It's normal to want to look good when you go out clubbing, and dressing up and doing your makeup has nothing to do with trying to one-up other people. If your friends have a problem with you wearing flattering outfits to the club with them, they have their own insecurities to sort out. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Yikes, your friends left you alone somewhere where you are a visitor because they didn't like your dress. You can wear what you want. True friends lift each other up so they don't abandon them because of their own insecurities. Now for the update. Well, it's been some time since my original post, so I thought it would be a good time to update after I gave myself time to process. I want to start with the statement that I am no longer friends with either L or K. After reading the comments under my original post, I realized how crappy what they did was and that it put me in danger. The night after they vandalized my stuff, we went out to breakfast, and I let them know that since I am the only person whose name is checked in on the hotel and my boyfriend paid for it, they both had 5 hours to pack and find another place to stay, or they could talk it out with me and pay for the clothes/shoes that they damaged. This was not met kindly, and both of them started cursing me out and telling me I was a selfish, conniving, snake-ass bitch. I told them that it was their choice to destroy my clothes, and all I wanted to do was to talk it out with them and figure out why this had to happen in the first place. I didn't get a straight answer other than I'm a selfish pick-me who doesn't deserve anything I have. So, I took it as them giving me my answer. Luckily, they were not difficult besides some passive-aggressive comments. I enjoyed the rest of my vacation as best as I could given that I was alone. Luckily, a lot of the local women were extremely kind and chatted with me wherever I was, so it didn't feel as bad. I've been home for a little less than a week and have received several nasty text messages from both L and K plus some mutual friends. I've spent most of this week trying to come to terms with the fact that I am losing several friendships over this. Thanks for all the help though. The comments really gave me solid advice and the guts to actually stick up for myself in this situation. Edit. I forgot to mention this, but to the one person under my original post who said they would try to sleep with my boyfriend, they did. The day after we got home, my boyfriend showed me a text I sent him. Basically, it was a lengthy text message about how I'm only with him because he has money and that they should meet up for coffee so she could show him he deserves better. That is ironic for 2 reasons. I was with/loved him the same while he was a broke college student working retail, and my family got him the job he has now. Comment 1. I guarantee you they did not tell the true story to your mutual friends. You might want to set the record straight. Then the original poster responded with, honestly, after thinking about it, I am deciding not to. If they were good friends, they'd reach out and ask themselves before hurling insults at me about how I'm a slut or whore. Especially because they know my character. I have never left my friends high and dry. If they needed me, I was always there. Even if they needed me now in a bad situation, I would never turn them away. I have always and will always show them love and compassion. It says a lot that the one time I need them, they aren't here. Comment 2. You're the idiot. Wow, just when I thought you couldn't get any worse, you proved me wrong. You are the epitome of a self-absorbed and vengeful person. Instead of taking the high road and trying to repair the friendship, you decided to exact revenge on your former friends by kicking them out of the hotel and demanding they pay for the damaged clothes. While their actions of vandalizing your belongings were wrong, your response was disproportionate and malicious. You could have chosen to have a conversation, to find out what drove them to such extreme behavior, and try to work towards a resolution. Instead, you chose to play the role of the vengeful queen, kicking them out and demanding payment. And to top it all off, you had the audacity to throw in the unnecessary detail about one of them allegedly trying to sleep with your boyfriend. Not only does it seem like a petty attempt to tarnish their reputation, but it also shows your insecurity and pettiness. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for telling my dad, who left me, that I don't remember him? I'm female 15. And my father is male 46. My dad left the family when I was 7 without any explanation. He just vanished one day, and I've never seen him since. He left because of relationship issues with my mom. She was heartbroken, and waited 5 years for him to return, but in the end filed for divorce. Thankfully, she's over him now. To be honest, now 8 years after he left, I barely have any memory of him. Only some resentment for the years of suffering he put my mom and sister, female 19, through. They tried and tried to contact him, but he'd never respond. I can't remember his voice, personality, or even face much. Last week, he texted my mother and said he wanted to meet, after 8 years of disappearance. My mom agreed. We arranged a meetup at a nearby restaurant. My sister was so nervous/excited, but I realized I felt nearly nothing. He arrived, and my mom and sister started crying. He cried too, at the sight of his beloved daughters. He saw that I looked quite emotionless, and said, "Don't you miss your dad?" I replied honestly that I didn't remember him. He left so long, it's like I barely knew him. He was so shocked and hurt. Eventually, he cut off our meetup early, claiming he had to work. My mom and sister were so mad, they blamed it on me. My mom said that my sister's been waiting to see her dad for so long, but I had to make a stupid remark and make him leave a second time, asking how I could behave like this towards my dad, telling me that I'm a selfish witch and idiot. I'm sorry that he cut the meetup short, cause I knew my sister missed him so damn much. But to be honest, I don't feel bad for saying the truth. Am I the idiot? Now for a few comments before the update. Not the idiot. If he's going to leave again because his daughter told him the truth, they're better off with him gone. Comment 2. Not the idiot, you're the selfish one. He walked out with no explanation when you were only 7 and showed up 8 years later thinking everything is going to be all okay, and yet you are selfish for not remembering him. I'm in shock. I'm even more shocked that your mom and sister are with him on the playing happy family in a sense, rather than ripping him a new one for what he did. Edit. Someone made the very good point that the dad was gone from Opie's life longer than he has been there. It makes total sense that he wouldn't be remembered. Now for the update. Hi. It's me again, but now I'm 1 year older, and a bit wiser, I hope. It's been a few months since I initially posted, so here's an update on how my life's going. First, I no longer feel bad about making my dad leave the meetup since he somehow reconciled with both my mom and sister. Here's how it happened. In mid-April, he came to our house to see my sister on her birthday. He bought a ton of gifts and said a lot of sappy words, which of course, won my mom and sister over. He tried to talk to me calling me his darling baby and precious little girl. However, when he realized that I truly did not see him as a father, he left. In June, he visited again. I confronted him and asked why he suddenly wanted to be so involved in the family after leaving for 8 years. He said that he never forgot about us and always felt so guilty about leaving, that he needed to see us again because we were the most important people in his life. I demanded to know why he left then. His exact answer was, "Baby, when I was in a relationship with your mom, things got difficult. Things like that happen in relationships and daddy needed a break. It doesn't mean daddy doesn't love you." I thought it was utter bullshit. I said, "If you needed a break, you could have talked things out with mom. You could have even filed for divorce. But instead you walked out and left without a trace like a freaking coward." He tried to convince me that I wouldn't understand these kinds of things, but I wouldn't hear him out. He dodged my questions and eventually got so frustrated that he left again. In July, which is my birthday month, he visited on my birthday. In a very passive-aggressive manner, he said he wanted to take my sister and mom out to a restaurant. "To catch up with daddy?" my sister asked. "You are not taking her, me too," he responded. "My name is very temperamental with daddy. Can you tell her that daddy loves her? She won't understand." I find it very weird and slightly disturbing that he is still talking to us like we're little kids despite me being 16 and my sister being 20. My sister and mom were hesitant about leaving without me, but eventually they went. They came home to celebrate my birthday with me, but I still thought it was hurtful they went in the first place. Our family hasn't heard from my dad all August, despite my sister trying to reach out to him. Of course, they are putting the blame on me for giving him the cold shoulder. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. By the way, I'm so thankful to all the commenters. If it weren't for them, I'd probably still be feeling guilty and sad. Have a great day. Comment 1. There's something seriously wrong with your father. I'm so sorry. I hope you have support and counseling. Comment 2. Your father is so hurtful to the rest of you. That birthday stunt he pulled was vindictive and nasty. It's also terrible that your mother and sister are taking out their hurt on you. I'm sorry that all 3 of your family members are acting irrationally, and it's good that you can see the situation for what it is. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to drop a like. It really helps the channel grow. See you next time.